Following Omarosa's release of recordings showing that there were some issues in the White House, issues that make the Trump administration look particularly bad, Donald Trump decided to fight back via Twitter. And so his recent tweet in regard to Omarosa has caught a little bit of heat. Let me tell you what he said. When you give a crazed, crying lowlife a break, you give her a job at the White House. I guess it just didn't work out. Good work by General Kelly for firing that dog. So that last part has upset people for obvious reasons. Referring to a black woman as a dog is problematic to say the least. And so, look, I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, but what do you expect? What Trump says is one thing, but his actions speak way louder than words.
You guys might be surprised that I'm a little mixed on this, and I'll tell you why. So there's some racial slurs that are obvious, and then the right wing will claim, no, when we called that black person an ape, well, I don't know why you're taking it so personally. No, we know what you're talking about. It's the oldest racial stereotype. It's what people have said for hundreds of years to attack African Americans, okay? And so there's a list of those. Then there are others that mean nothing. You can compare someone to an animal, and it means nothing at all. I just called Omarosa a snake earlier in the show, and I got no problem. I'll say that 1,000 times because she is. And so is Donald Trump, okay? And so is Michael Cohen, and so is almost everybody that works in the Trump administration. If you called her a parrot, you'd be like, okay, I don't know what that means, right? So it depends, it depends. So does Donald Trump call people dogs? Well, kind of. He's called women dogs in the past, okay? So there's that. I don't know if that makes it any better or makes it worse. And then he said Mitt Romney choked like a dog. He said David Gregory was fired like a dog. And he said Ted Cruz lies like a dog. Well, see, and that's why I'm mixed on it, because now Ted Cruz whimpers like a dog to Donald Trump.
Yes, he does.
He does, and I know you shouldn't use that derogatorily because
animals are innocent.
But this one to me is a little bit less clear, given the overwhelming racial history of Donald Trump and the way he has attacked African Americans over and over and over again, and specifically. So to me, when he called her not smart, that was actually worse. Now, why? I mean, that doesn't have to be a racial slur. You call anybody not smart. That doesn't mean that it's racial at all, right?
He seems to use that insult specifically for black people.
I mean, all the time.
Yeah. So,
and almost exclusively for them.
Yeah.
So he's got a billion insults. And that's why, again, dog, I'm like, yeah, but this guy's unhinged.
Yeah.
Calls like 18 different things dogs, right? But Don Lemon, these are the people he called low IQ. Don Lemon, Maxine Waters, LeBron James, and Omarosa. What connects those four? And then, of course, always note the irony that this is the lowest IQ person in public life, Donald Trump, calling other people low IQ. But why? It's in the back of his head. All these racial stereotypes. Puerto Ricans, they didn't help themselves during the hurricane because they're lazy. Oh, come on,
Mexicans
man.
Mexicans are criminals and rapists.
That's right. And the Jews are like to renegotiate. These are all things he said because that's the kind of stereotypes, to be polite, that he has in his head. So I don't know what he meant by dog, but I do know who he is.
Look, all I know is, again, actions speak louder than words. So if you're trying to judge him solely based on what he says, that's one thing. But I would argue that it's more valuable to judge someone based on the actions they take. The fact that he took out a full-page ad after the Central Park Five were proven innocent, and in that ad he said that they should be executed anyway, that says something.
Yeah, let me just be clear. He wanted them executed in the beginning, before they were tried, before he had any idea if they were guilty. And then later, when they were proven innocent, he said they should stay in jail anyway.
Oh, okay, sorry,
right.
Good clarification.
And he said, yeah, they probably did something. Oh, come on, that's so racist. They found the actual guy who did the rape, and he wasn't a minority, and he confessed, and they had his DNA. It's that guy.
Yeah.
They had wrongly imprisoned these poor kids for all those years, but they're black, so he comes out and he's like, they probably did something. They were kids. He's such a monster. So it's an interesting debate about the word dog, but we already know who this guy is.
Finally, I want to go to Sarah Huckabee Sanders' press conference today. She was asked specifically whether or not she could guarantee that Trump said any racial slur, specifically the N-word. Here was her response to it.
Can you stand at the podium and guarantee the American people they'll never hear Donald Trump utter the N-word on a recording in any context?
I can't guarantee anything, but I can tell you that the president addressed this question directly. I can tell you that I've never heard it. I can also tell you that if myself or the people that are in this building serving this country every single day, doing our very best to help people all across this country and make it better, if at any point we felt that the president was who some of his critics claim him to be, we certainly wouldn't be here.
So she can't guarantee it.
I mean, that was smart.
So obvious. It's so obvious. They got the tapes. By the way, the guy who might have the tapes is Mark Burnett, who produced The Apprentice. That's a theory. I don't know if it's true. And Mark Burnett is an evangelical Republican. So if he has the tapes, he didn't release them during the election. He hasn't released them now. I mean, if there's a conspiracy to make sure Donald Trump didn't win, the world's worst conspiracy, because nobody ever released bad stuff about him. No, to be fair, Access Hollywood tape, they did release that. But they unleashed on Hillary Clinton, the FBI, and everyone else. So I don't, if that tape exists and that answer from Sarah Huckabee Sanders makes me believe that it definitely does. It's apparently people who are friendly to him who are keeping it from the public. JR, what do you think? Dog, racial or not racial?
What's the thing? So you said he's called other ones dogs, and he said he lied like a dog. I forget the other examples. He did this. He was someone
Choked
fired
like a dog.
Choked like a dog. Was someone fired like a dog?
Yes.
Like a dog?
Yeah.
Okay, so those were. Now I'm gonna have maybe some small differences with this, but those were they did the things like a dog. That was a dog, he said about her. I'm just going off of the mindset of this guy. Also, if you have a track record that this guy has, and if you actually cared about your track record and the fact that you're called a racist for good reason, you think about the things that you say.
That's a great point.
Your background is that. So you don't care enough to think, people might think that this kind of comes off bad. He's just thinking, I'm gonna hit her and hit her back because I'm a counterpuncher. So if your track record is that, that's a problem already. So we already know who you are, so when you say it, we can read into that. My kid's kindergarten teacher, she has to have little names for her class. She said, I used to call my one called them the Cubs. These are my Cubs. She had to call them monkey. These are my little monkeys, they go crazy. And we're like, maybe don't use it, but at least you don't have a track record for doing that.
Right.
We think about what you're saying, because there's some kids in the class that maybe that's a problem. And you're thinking, oh, they're just crazy kids who like to climb on walls. That's your thought process, but you're missing something. But at least you don't have a track record for being a racist. And we can go, why are you doing that? If you have a track record, you think about it.
Yeah.
You should, especially the president of the United States.
That's such a great point, because even if you think he did not have bad intent, who is so low IQ that in a tweet, when you have been accused of racism a million times, you call an African-American person you're opposed to both not smart in an earlier tweet, doing it for the 4th time in a short period of time, all against African-Americans, and then you call her a lowlife and a dog. Man, that's not savvy at all.
Come on, man. Why? Like, I'm just so you know how you're tired about the debates regarding the Russia investigation? I'm tired of having debates about whether or not he's racist. He said that the Charlottesville white nationalists, some of them are good people. Some of them are good people.
They were chanting blood and soil, blood and soil. The Jews will not replace us. Who says some of them are good people? 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below. Then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.